Hello. I'm going to take a minute to go over functionality added around management of batches. We added this into our 4.37 release, which is our year-end release for 2021. Specifically, we added a new menu option under production control called batch production maintenance. The purpose of this screen is to give you the ability to perform actions on a number of batches simultaneously. Some examples would be to release a batch, to delete a batch, to ops close a batch. I'll go through those scenarios here in a second. So one of the first things you'll notice is kind of our Vicinity view kind of grid type user interface where I'm showing all these batches that are listed based on some type of criteria. I even have a grouping by, so if I want to see everything grouped by facility, things like that. So I've got that regular grouping functionality that you're used to through Vicinity View and other areas in our product. The other thing to point out is we have filters. So we can filter things out. I can say, going back to the R&D lab for a second, I can say I only want to see the R&D lab batches and just refresh it and it'll filter it out and there are all my R&D batches. I can also do the same thing for process cells. Remember, process cells is a scheduling concept. It's a field used to help us schedule products by some production lines. And then you have planners. Now, planners is just a field on the batch and on planned orders that allows you to group items by the person that's scheduling them. You may have dry products scheduled by one person and wet products scheduled by another, whatever. You can limit that by scheduling type of person. We can also limit by the type of batch or where the batch is in its process. In other words, I want to see batches that can be released. In other words, basically they're planned batches. So these are all batches that can be moved to the next stage from planned to released. I might want to look at those that can be ops closed. In other words, these are released batches. They may or may not have any transactions processed against them, but it allows us to ops close them. I can also filter these out by those that can be deleted. Now, a batch that can be deleted is a planned batch. It could also be a released batch, but it can't have any transactions that have been posted against it. So that would be a batch that could be deleted. Now, once you've identified the selection process, limit the number of batches that are out there, what you would do is come in and just select the batches that you want to do something with. Just pick the selection box and you can go and select as many of those as you want, skip patterns and things like that, or you can do all if you wanted to do that. Now, I did want to point out that these restrict batches that can be selections are actually visually represented here by these green checkboxes. So visually you can see that same information. So this one it can be deleted, it can be ops closed, and we're also showing that it has unposted transactions. Now I want to point out what happens when you delete or ops close a batch that has unposted transactions. It would be really ops closing it. Is if it has an unposted transactions associated with it, the system is going to release that. Let's say if you have lots associated with it, it'll release that commitment and put that inventory back available again. So the system's going to take care of that for you. So select whichever batches you're interested in taking action on. In this case, these are both planned. In this case, I can release them. Sure you want to release? Yes, and it'll actually change them from planned to released, and they're still listed on this selection. I could go even further with that and say, okay, these can also be deleted. I could take those and come down to a deleted stage and actually delete those batches, and it gets rid of them out of my database. Finally, I can come in, and let's say a released batch, I can come in and actually ops close that batch. So in this case, this batch that I've got, 5588, has now been ops closed and is now gone from my selection. Finally, note that this blue underline indicates as a drillback. So if I need to go look at this batch or go work on it or activate it, I can go directly into that batch, pulls up the batch, and I can make any modifications. This could be helpful if you've got a scenario where you want to delete a batch, but it has unposted transactions. You may want to navigate to that specific batch and find out what's going on with these transactions that are sitting out here that haven't been posted, and do I actually want to delete this batch or do anything further with this batch. So some great functionality. It's really, we think internally we're going to be able to use it when clients contact us to delete a whole range of batches, or ops close a whole range of batches. Maybe somebody's been entering data and posting it, but they forget to ops close. We've always had to do that in the database. This is now giving you the ability to go and do that same function on your own. We're happy to walk you through it, see how it's done, but you should be able to do your own ops close and or delete and or releasing of batches for a group of batches with this release. All right, well, we appreciate your feedback and bringing it to our attention, and we look forward to hearing other ways that we can make our product a little easier for you to use and more beneficial in your company. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.